Welcome, everybody, to the 2018 NFL Draft in Review. This is a series in which I will look at every pick from the 2018 NFL Draft to see how these picks kind of shook out in comparison to how I figured they would 5 years ago. I deem 5 years to be a generally pretty good estimate of whether or not a player is going to have any real staying power in the league, at least as a starter. And this will begin with the New England Patriots. So, with the 23rd selection of the first round back in 2018, the Patriots selected offensive tackle Shia Wynn. And Wynn has been a very mixed bag for this team. He's now been in the league 5 years, obviously, and he's only effectively been on the field for 2.5 of that. It's just really been one injury after the other. There's been a not insignificant, but not really good amount of penalties on him through that time as well. Especially the last 2 years, the Patriots offense being handicapped by a lack of receivers and some absolutely moronic offensive coordination and a young quarterback. That those penalties, they just hurt this team. He's not a bad player for what I've seen of him, but he's not consistently on the field. He's not consistently able to stay out of trouble with the referees. And I'm just constantly seeing Mac Jones and other quarterbacks we've had getting destroyed off the edges. It's just, he's going to be a free agent in 2023. Considering the fact that we have other people to sign, like Jacoby Myers, I really do not believe that Shia Wynn is going to be on this team going forward. I really do hope that the rest of his career will go substantially better for him, but I just do not think that we will be seeing him in a Patriots uniform again. With the 31st pick of the 2018 NFL Draft, Patriots selected running back Sony Michel. And I'm hard-pressed to say this guy was a bust, because in the end, he did pretty much single-handedly win us the Super Bowl. How many running backs can you really say that for in this day and age? But that was pretty much the highlight of his career, that just obscene rookie campaign in the playoffs when he pretty much toasted the Chargers by himself and had a pretty good hand in why we beat the Chiefs as well. But since then, he kind of just fell off the map with us, got replaced. And now he's just basically in the process of bouncing around teams. He's going to be a free agent again, presumably his 4th team in 6 years next season. So I'd have to consider him a bust that actually kind of did something, which is a bit better than what I expected, because when that pick happened, I absolutely had no fucking idea what Bill Belichick was doing, because at the time we had like 6 running backs on the roster. And the biggest black mark on this is the fact that he was the backup running back at Georgia, and the starter was Nick Chubb, who was still on the board. Yeah. I really wish we had Nick Chubb instead. So, the 56th pick in the second round is another very disappointing pick, cornerback Duke Dawson. I was ecstatic when I first saw this guy play, and this is another one very much like a Shia Wynn, where if not for the injuries, we might have seen a really good player, but the injuries just made it untenable for us to keep him. We ended up shipping him off. I think we might have actually released him. Let me see. Yeah, we did trade him. And then it was just more the same. Another injury. And another injury after that. And then down to practice squads, injured reserve. He's now on the Steelers on a reserve future contract. And like I said, it's disappointing to see a player that I believe had potential like this to just completely fizzle out the way he did, but that's the NFL. Not everyone's a Hall of Famer. It is what it is. Then through some particularly, I would consider somewhat questionable draft strategy, we pretty much progressively flushed down the drain any picks from the 3rd to 4th round. So next selection was a linebacker in the 5th round, 143rd overall, Jawan Bentley. Bentley has honestly somewhat surprised me. I didn't really expect him to become a prominent piece of this defense. I expected him to basically just be standing there holding the clipboard for the majority of the time. And it's the only real problem I see here is just the fact that the Patriots defense has had a absolute hell of a time stopping mobile quarterbacks. If a team has a mobile quarterback, you can expect us to lose the game. It's frankly fucking annoying. I really, really do wish that Bill Belichick would get around to fixing this shit so that we don't have to deal with Josh Allen just toying with us. But, great coach, not that great of a general manager. There, I said it. Now, let's see if I can actually find some reasonable stuff to watch on him in the pros. Because college, I've already pretty much seen it all. It's one of those kind of deals. And doesn't really look like we're going to get that opportunity here because, highlights are come and go, hit or miss. Sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't. Moving on to the next pick, another linebacker, Christian Sam. This is probably my biggest whiff on the whole class because, just look at that list of teams. He's hasn't been higher than a practice squad most of his career. There's 2 teams in there. The last 2 teams he was on that he wasn't on the practice squad for. Those are, I believe, USFL teams. Holy crap, this guy's not even good enough to stay on one team through a season as short as that. Yeah, he got a Super Bowl ring out of that rookie season, so I'd retire with that, but that's just me. It's also very disappointing. Arizona State, one of my favorite colleges. So, it's another player. It's sad to see him just kind of go by the wayside like this. Then we have another 6th rounder, 210th overall, receiver Braxton Berrios. And I don't really know what the hell we missed that somehow the Jets of all franchises managed to pick up on, but the guy is now a not insignificant target for the New York Jets. Well, I say as I show a stat line that's kind of pathetic, but still, for the Jets, that's like your 3rd or 4th guy. The Jets fans are going to come for me off of that one. I can feel it. But, like I said, I won't say that this guy would have fixed the Patriots' receiver problems that we've gotten ourselves into, but might have been nice to have another receiver that could maybe run a decent route and actually catch the football. Quarterback Danny Etling, this I'm honestly stunned this guy's even still in the league. I don't understand. There's a lot of times where I just look at these guys who are like third string practice squad riders, and I just think, who the hell is this guy's agent? How does he keep this guy in the league? Danny Etling is one of the worst quarterbacks that I've evaluated in 5 years doing this. And I've seen some pretty bad quarterbacks in that time. Skylar Thompson, Logan Woodside. This guy's maybe the worst of the entire bunch. I really don't understand why we drafted him in the first place. And that team list right there, you can basically just say it out loud. It's just it stands by itself. That is not good. He cannot stay on one team for really any longer than a few months. I mean, just look at 2021 there. That is 7 teams. One of them wasn't even in the NFL. The Packers keep picking him up for some reason. I don't get it. Maybe they're like intending him to be the backup for Jordan Love when Aaron Rodgers bitches his way out of Green Bay. Keon Crosson's another one. I was not very impressed by this guy's ability. He's had more of an NFL career than I thought he was going to. But I would say the team chart is pretty self-explanatory. Crossan cannot really seem to stay in one place for very long. But being that he's in Miami, I kind of just have to hope that he doesn't suddenly, watch this video and then decide to suddenly turn into Stephon Gilmore. Like a certain other bum that went to the Dolphins from us, Eric Rao. I'm looking at you. And this will bring it to the final selection we made, number 250 of the 7th round, tight end from Florida State, Ryan Izzo. Izzo is basically just a pretty good look into the problems that we have had as an offense going back too many damn years. He is no longer with this team. He's now the USFL's problem. Have fun with that, Philadelphia. He's just not a pass-catching tight end. And there's nothing wrong with that in my eyes, but it does lose you points because this is the modern NFL. It's a pass-happy league. The run-blocking, pass-blocking tight end, it's not really a dead art, but it is one of those positions that you don't really need it anymore. It has a value if you're going to run an offense that relies on a player like that existing, but there's just not that many offenses to do that anymore, ours included. And so I just kind of have to label this as another pick that it just wasn't a good selection, even for a 7th rounder. So overall, for this whole class, back when I started this, I was maybe a little over-optimistic in terms of the potential of this class, even with how many players that I didn't like when they were drafted, and still don't like because they contributed absolutely nothing to this franchise. I'd have to pretty much downgrade this from an original and pretty laughable and somewhat biased grade of an A down to pretty much a D-. This was not a good class. Jawan Bentley's pretty much the only thing saving this. Ashaya Wynn, you could maybe add a few points for him and Sony Michel, but Ashaya Wynn cost us Brandon Cooks, and look at our receivers now. I would trade Ashaya Wynn for Brandon Cooks being back on this team in a heartbeat. So that's just the long and short of this draft. It was not a good class. You can really point back to this one as a very good example of why the Patriots are where they are now.